Well, this is our new beast. And I'm going to finish off putting the CB radio in today. And I'm going to install a CB radio into it. I've bought a Uniden X76. It has a remote control microphone, and I think I'm going to mount it behind the glove box. The antenna I've got a bracket for, which goes underneath the mirror, and the reason for that is that I don't have a rhubar on the front and everything is plastic. There's nowhere to actually mount an antenna on the front of the car. Well, the antenna's mounted, just got to get inside the cab now. Well, it's taken me a fair while, but I've managed to fish the antenna cable through a spare grommet on the side of the car and down out through here. And now I'm going to run that up into underneath the glove box where I'm going to mount this little miniature radio. I've mounted the Uniden CB radio in this panel here. Just used a bit of really good quality double-sided tape. I ran the antenna and the power cable up through the firewall, and the microphone cable is just going over that side at the moment. I haven't run the microphone just yet. I'm going to pull through the power lead and connect it all up. So I made a small hole with an old antenna into a grommet there, and I'm using the power cable from the Uniden. I'm going to pull that through and then connect it up to another cable and take that over to the battery. I've just left a bit of slack inside the car, and now I'm going to use some decent quality crimping tool and strippers to trim this off and then join the cables together. I need to just plan the route of the cable so that it doesn't go over something that I can't get it secured properly to the firewall. Okay. Now these are a decent pair of wire strippers. One thing I've hated when I've had people working for me is the shit they leave behind. So small bits of plastic, they can go in the bin, they don't need to go on the floor. So I'm going to use crimp terminals. Prefer them over soldering. If you can't solder, and I can, make sure you're using crimping tools and use really good quality ones. And after crimping, mechanically test it so that's not coming off. Now I'm connecting two different gauges of wire, so this one I'm going to double over. Red goes to red, never goes to black. And there is a right way to hold your crimping tool. And that's not coming out. When I say there's a right way on this particular brand of crimping tool, the three colours are there. That's the side the wire comes in. And the reason for that is that it crushes not as much as the other side. And the reason for that is that the other side is bare copper wire and this has got the insulation on it, and you don't want to over crush the insulation because it will eventually break the wire. So it does mean you have to hold it cock-handed sometimes. And that's done. Just going to make sure there's a little bit of slack down the bottom there. There's a bit of a drip loop. I'm not going to put any looming on this cable just yet. I'm going to do that later on. I need to get away. Don't need to. I want to get away on a trip shortly. Anyway, let's go and connect up the battery side. Right, I didn't show you crimping these connectors on because I've already done it. I'm actually putting the earth wire to the chassis, making sure it's pretty tight. I picked a position on the car where there was already threads. The reason for putting the earth wire to the chassis is that if you put it to the negative on the battery, you should put a fuse in series with that, because under some fault conditions you can draw start current through your radio, and that's not a good idea. I'm now going to connect the positive lead to the radio to a fuse. If you understand this one thing about fuses, then it'll make it a lot easier to work out what you should be doing with them. Fuses are there to protect the wiring, not the equipment. The equipment's already got a fault that's caused the fuse to blow, so it doesn't really matter. The fuse protects the wiring by making sure that short circuit that does not cause massive amounts of current to make the wire get hot and eventually melt or even catch fire. So that means the fuse must be as close to the source of energy as possible. That's the positive terminal of the battery, or wherever you're taking your positive lead from. Unfortunately, just about every radio supplier for CBs puts the fuses right at the radio, and that is not good enough. I always cut mine out, and I hate the glass fuses they use. I always use the blade fuses with these waterproof style fuse holders. And while I'm going to do this, I'm going to pull the fuse out and I'll just start making some connections. Need to be very careful here because we're working with the battery. I can't isolate the battery at the battery because it's connected. Anyway, I'll just take off this nut. If I can. Need to be very careful with non-insulated tools on 12 volts because that'll pull a lot of current if it shorts out. I'm going to try and avoid dropping the power in the car. Now once I put the fuse back in, I should have power to the radio. Putting a 5 amp fuse in because it's only a 5 watt radio, so it won't be pulling that much power. Here's the microphone, the cable from the radio, plug those in, no smoke's got out. Job done.
Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1.
Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. Well, that's working both ways. Sweet as. Now just to tidy this up, you don't need to see this, but all good.